Beautiful souls, let's talk about the difference between being awake and being asleep still, but awakening. Like this is so divine because if you've always been awake, like you might know you've always been awake. If you've always been weird and an outcast and just didn't fit in, didn't see things the way everybody expected you to see things or do things. Um, and that could be happening for you now, going, I just want to break the script. Right on. That's awakening. But there's so many people um, at the stage of asleep, and this is not judgment. Like we were all asleep at one point in our life. Like, have compassion. And it's not about trying to shake them awake. It's just about, again, compassion, having love for those, because really, awake means you just feel, you know, you're connected, you have faith, you can see right through any of the illusions that society tries to bring forth. Like you know, you have this inner knowing, and there's a faith there. Now, if not, those that we call asleep are just truly paralyzed in fear. Can you imagine if you didn't have a sense of faith, that sense of knowing? This is a feeling, this is a vibration that is really hard to put into perspective. It's hard to give it a word. I mean, that's why I think a lot are attracted to religion in essence, because it gives you the word God. God's source energy is everything, and we are one with all of it. And when you know that you come from that and you tap back into that internally, that's very awake. But that means that you have to have faith and trust in so much that is beyond what meets the eye, which is the difficult part. People who feel scared don't have the ability to necessarily think like that, or when they do, it trips them out because they've never experienced it before. And I remember along the way talking to a lot of different youth who said, I don't really believe in anything. I don't really have a belief or a faith in anything. And I said, you know what I realize? I don't know that you can actually come to that until you actually are put in a position in life where you fall to your knees and you have to look up and you start to question everything. And I know that the universe has been doing this for so many now. You have to know that whatever is really difficult is happening for you, because if it's made you fall to your knees and you're looking up, God bless, because this is the beginning of the awakening for many. You start to have faith in essence. And when you are able to have some faith, and when you're able to allow yourself to really feel this deep connection with the all-knowing part of you, that you're not alone and that you're being guided, and that you have angels, and that there is another side, and that there's so much more to life, this can help you get past fears. But for those that don't, if they're still, so many are convinced that they need to stay in touch with what's going on. And so they'll take the time to actually watch the news, for example. And this can put somebody into the darkest frequency ever for a really long time. And if they don't already have a sense of faith or belief, someone who's awake could watch that objectively and not absorb it. The other side of it is that it triggers fight or flight response, fear-based, destroys your sense of safety and security, makes you question everything again. And then it can activate past trauma responses. And God knows what you've watched as a movie lately that could activate things. Oh my goodness. And so there goes someone who we call asleep. Just unfortunately, the fear, fight or flight kicks in. That fear base means that now, you know what happens when we get into fear? It turns off your frontal lobe. It turns off your third eye. It turns off your ability to actually think in any way, rationally, logically. You can't hear your instincts. You can't hear your inner compass or your guidance. And so you immediately want to impulsively react in whatever way is going to bring you a sense of security and safety and relief from that fear. This is what is destroying so many people. And then you have to understand that it truly is a mindset. It's because you let certain thoughts get into your mind, which then creates a frequency, because fear is an energy and it creates heart palpitations. And instead, that could be excitement. It could be happiness if you chose to think about things like that. Choose to think about things that are lovely. I don't ever watch, I don't own a TV. If you're following me, you're going to know that everything that I share is coming from a very clear, uninfluenced mind. I spend a lot of time in nature deeply thinking, and this is something that if you're awake, you'll relate to. You want that, you need that. And even those that are what we call asleep, and again, I don't like these terms and these judgments. I take them very objectively. It's just stages where and I can hear and see lots of people saying to me, oh, I just love, I'm craving being in nature. I just need to go and be alone and be still and be one. That's amazing. It's all shifting. And so if you are awake and you feel like you just want to shake someone else awake, just love them with such love and above, and in knowing that at some point they'll reach their own point of like, okay, there's got to be something else. Give me some ideas. And when they're ready, then they can absolutely awaken. Now, here's the difference again. If you're awake, you know that you have instincts and that you have guidance, that things are signs. So you can be like, oh, I see numbers, or I heard a song and it means this, or birds will come to you. Any of those things. Now, someone who's awake knows this is a divine, because what is the odds that in that moment that bird decided to come and land right in front of you, for example, and tweet right to you as it looked into your eyes, you know, and then you feel this all-knowing part of you inside is like, oh, that was such a message, that was a connection, that was from my loved one, like, you know it. That's awake. And then someone maybe who's never experienced that before, we might say is asleep, but they're just not there yet where they've been able to have that experience and really truly know that feeling and that connection. Like, it really does take experience to have so much of this knowing. And then you know that there's no such thing as coincidences. People who are asleep, quote unquote, often will say, oh, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. But what? Really think about the odds of things lining up the way that they do. So you don't need to be external to be whole when you're awake. You also know this on a very, very deep level. You know, and you've probably always been happiest if you were in an environment that had such an array of different frequencies. Maybe you were like me and really just enjoyed being alone. I really, really loved, I was always in my room. They'd be like, Jerry, get out of your room and come and join us. And I was in my room writing poetry, and I was creating, and I was honoring my soul before the world was trying to tell me who I should be and what I'm supposed to do. We have this sense of wholeness and this sense of knowing in your heart and soul what it is that you really want. Even when others are trying to tell you different, you just know. You just have this all knowing. And I'm so excited about everyone coming to that. I'm seeing the rise in everyone, because even seniors are saying, like, oh, I've always wanted to paint, and now I'm seeing on Facebook a bunch of them are like, oh, I decided to pull out the brush and I did it, and I can see such a happiness rise and such a beautiful soul connection to source in that regard, even if they don't have um, a belief in any type of religion. It doesn't matter. It's a vibration, it's a sensation, it's a knowing. And what if everyone could feel that in whatever way works authentically to you? This is the awakening. Everyone is coming to that now, and I'm so excited. Share with me, subscribe, leave a comment or a question if you feel this rising within yourself, or if you've always had it, if you've always felt and known that you were awake. And it wasn't hard for you, as the society was shifting, for you to stand strong in your all knowing. I certainly was absolutely clear in my heart of hearts. I felt like I just know what's happening, and there's no way that I'm falling for any of it. I'm not going to feed the fear. I'm going to feed my faith. And I hope that that's what all of us do from this point forward, because that's how the collective consciousness of the universe is going to rise and awaken. So just hold that frequency and hold that love and light and hold that all knowing that we are truly stepping into a brand new world. It's the end of the world as we know it, and it's time to feel fine. That's all. People didn't make mistakes when they wrote certain lyrics to certain songs. Pay attention. Much love and light to us all as we rise. God bless everyone at whatever stage you are at in this awakening, in this shift. And for those of you really wanting to save those that are asleep, just pray for them. Send them so much love and light. Surround them with as much, and pray to their higher self. Send a prayer to their higher self that they receive clarity and maybe a dash of intuition, maybe a beautiful sign that they just can't deny, so that they'll tap into that all-knowing part. It's just a matter of remembering. We all want to remember. And once you remember, there's no turning back. It doesn't matter what anyone who is quote unquote asleep tries to tell you when you're like, oh, that's such a beautiful coincidence, or that's so magical. And they're just like, what are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. You're so weird or whatever. I just say, thank you, and keep shining, because at some point, most all of them come on back and say, okay, what is it that you're doing again? How did you? Yeah, now they're ready. Allow that to happen. So again, wishing everyone so much love and light. I'm heart hugging you with all of my heart. I'm so thankful for this beautiful journey that we have called life. And it's so much better when we're together. Together is how we rise. So please, again, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment or a question if you've got one. I'll make a video just for you. Much love.